Do dragon lairs actually hide any unique weapons and armor? Or is it just random loot that scales with your level? And what are the chances of finding something enchanted or really valuable? So, to find out, I went to every dragon lair in Skyrim and even checked out the one on Solstheim at both level 1 and level 100. I didn't activate the dragon, so we could see who's guarding the chest instead. Do the enemies change as you level up? Not just in strength, but in type? And of course, the big question, is the loot always better and more valuable at the level 100? To answer that, I calculated the total value of everything I found at each location. We'll break down the numbers and compare the results. Oh, and we'll also take a look around each lair to see if there's anything else worth grabbing nearby. Alright, let's get into it. We'll begin with the dragon lair way down at the bottom of the map, Ancient's Ascent. At level 1, the place is guarded by just a few wolves. Nothing too scary. And there is not much to loot either, just the chest. Inside, we've got a few basic armor pieces, none of them enchanted, a bit of gold, and some other random stuff. When I calculated the total value based on base prices, it came out to 809 gold. But keep in mind, unless you've leveled up speech, merchants will only offer you about 30% of that. Oh, and don't be surprised to see huge carry weight. I just used a console command to boost it so I could carry everything I found. Now, let's see what happens at level 100. This time, the lair is guarded by frost trolls instead of wolves. So yeah, the enemies do change, at least here. And the loot, definitely better. There are more weapons and armor pieces now, and 3 of them are enchanted. We've got apprentice robes of illusion, a sanctified hunting bow, and a staff of reanimation. Altogether, the chest's value jumps to 2,306 gold, almost 3 times more than at level 1. But does that mean level 100 always gives better loot? Is every chest going to be more valuable? Or could there be some surprises? Alright, next up is Autumn Watchtower. Now, this spot isn't just a dragon lair, it's also a small bandit camp with some towers. So naturally, you'll find bandits hanging around, mostly wearing light armor. I was curious to see if all their gear changes as you level up. Since Skyrim has a scaling system, it should be better, but I wanted to see how much better. One thing that caught my eye was their bedrolls, out in the open with no roof. I mean, come on, who leaves their bed out where rain or snow can just soak it? Anyway, did I find anything worth noticing? Just one thing, a pair of hide boots with a minor sneaking enchantment. How about the chest? At level 1, the coolest loot was a float varla stone and a staff of courage. Even at this low level, I managed to get an enchanted item, nothing crazy of course. The total value came to 1,557 gold, better than the last lair we checked at level 1. I'll share a full rundown of all lairs and their loot values for both levels later, so we can compare how things vary. Now, onto level 100. The number of bandits stays the same, 4, but some of them switch up. The lady bandit looks the same and wears similar stuff, but now she's cooking. More interestingly, there's an orc this time, whereas before it was all humans. But the real eye-catcher? The chief. This guy is geared in Daedric plate armor, a serious upgrade and definitely worth more than what's in the chest. Speaking of the chest, it contains an enchanted ebony helmet and a grand staff of repulsion. Pretty nice, but still not as valuable as that Daedric set. The total chest value here is 3,407 gold, so the highest so far. But the Daedric armor set is worth around 6,050 gold. Oh, and I went back to check out the camp again on level 100, and guess what? The bandits changed. This time I found an orc cooking in a tower, and the chief had only Nordic armor with an orcish shield. So yeah, the bandit crew isn't the same even at the same level, and their gear changes up too. Alright, let's head over to the next spot, Lost Tongue Overlook. Now, be careful on your way up to this one. The stairs leading to the lair are rigged with spellcaster traps, and they can hit hard if you're not paying attention. At level 1, the place is guarded by skeletons and a necromancer. There is a chest of course, plus a little altar nearby, nothing useful on it though, and a tent with a staff of sparks and a necromancer ropes. Not bad for some early game loot. Now the chest? Surprisingly, it had a float varla stone and even an enchanted item inside. The total value came out to 1,799 gold, which is pretty solid for level 1. So, what happens at level 100? Well, there are still skeletons and a necromancer guarding this place, but the necromancer looks a bit different this time. The altar now has a greater soul gem instead of a petty one, and in the tent the ropes are the same, but the stuff is more valuable. And the chest? Honestly, a bit of a letdown. Aside from a ring, there wasn't anything special in there. The total value of the loot? Just 952 gold. Yep, even though I was at level 100, the loot was actually worse than what I found at level 1. Definitely not what I expected. I figured the higher the level, the better the loot, but turns out that's not always the case. Alright, the next up is Northwind Summit. Aside from the world wall and a small abandoned camp, there's not much going on here. At both level 1 and level 100, the camp only has a chest with some potions and scrolls, nothing else worth mentioning. The place is guarded by 3 skeletons, and that stays the same no matter what level you're at. So let's talk loot. At level 1, the chest had items worth 1146 gold, with the most interesting find being a pair of hide boots of lifting. Not bad, but then at level 100, ouch, only 402 gold worth of loot. Just a few arrows, some gold, and a steel warhammer. Honestly, this was the worst chest out of all the dragon lairs, at least up to this point. The gold itself made up more than half the total value, which says a lot. If you're role-playing a treasure hunter in Skyrim, luck really is a huge factor. The loot was so bad that I actually went back after checking all the other lairs, and this time I found a Daedric plate helmet. So yeah, loot in Skyrim is seriously randomized. There's definitely some percentage-based system behind the scenes deciding what kinds of items show up, which isn't a surprise of course, since it's no secret that Skyrim uses a level scaling for both enemies and loot. But I've never actually tested it like this to see how the drops change at different levels. But for the final summary, I only count the first time results. That way we can see how often high value loot shows up and at which level. Next up, Bonestream Crest. Just like the last place, this one's guarded by 3 skeletons, and that doesn't change no matter what level you're at. The area itself is scattered with mammoth bones, which is kind of weird when you think about it. I mean, how did they get here? It's way too high up for mammoths to climb, so I doubt they were attacked here. And unlike the last spot, there are no signs of people, no huts, no gear, so this couldn't be some hunter's work either. So maybe the dragon just really likes mammoth steaks? Anyway, remember what I said earlier about luck? At the level 1, I found one of the worst drops so far, total value 207 gold. Yep, that's it. But then level 100 came through, and yeah, the loot was definitely better. I found 4 enchanted items, a circlet of peerless distraction, an elven helmet of eminent alteration, an elven warhammer of the blaze, and a necklace of recuperation. The total value? 3667 gold, easily the best loot so far. So yeah, even though this place gave me the worst loot at level 1, it also gave me the best at level 100. This proves how random everything really is. Specific dragon lairs aren't guaranteed to give better loot than others, it all comes down to chance. Okay, time for the next stop. The dragon lair guarded by Croesus, one of the 8 high-ranking dragon priests. He's standing watch here whether you're level 1 or 100, so no surprises there. But finally, we actually get a unique item here, a cool mask after defeating Croesus. It's not from a chest, but still that's pretty awesome. It would be nice if more dragon lairs had unique weapons or armor like this. So, how's the loot looking? At level 1, the total value was 1339 gold, with some iron armor enchanted for illusion spells. But at level 100, that's when I really struck gold. The loot value jumped up to 6629 gold. This time, almost everything I found was enchanted and made from higher tier materials, ebony, glass, some elven gear. No steel or iron junk this time. Some of the standout items were apprentice robes of alteration, a glass warhammer of blizzard, and an elven bow of expelling, which was actually the priciest item here. It sent summoned Daedra up to level 20 straight back to oblivion. Pretty cool, right? Alright, next up Mount Anthor. And this one seriously caught me off guard. I couldn't find the chest. I circled around the area so many times thinking I just missed it, but nope. Turns out there really isn't one. I even had to Google it just to be sure. And yeah, Mount Anthor is the only dragon lair in the game with no chest at all. Kinda wild, right? I'm curious if that was intentional or if someone just forgot to place it there. Either way, I totally didn't remember this. I thought all dragon lairs have chests. As for enemies, the place is guarded by 2 warlocks at both level 1 and 100. You can only find some potions in urns, and at least they're a bit better at level 100. But yeah, no chest. Still can't get over that. Now, let's head over to Skyborn Altar. When I got there, I was immediately faced with a fearsome guardian, this tiny little bunny. Seriously, look at it. so cute. No way you could hurt that fluff ball. But okay, jokes aside, the real enemy here is Wisp Mother and her wisps. They guard the place at both levels. So far, only the first dragon lair had different enemies depending on your level. Remember how it's changed from wolves to frost trolls? At first, I thought all the lairs would work like that, but no. Turns out that one was the exception. The rest always have the same enemies, just a level up. And if they're humanoid, their gear and appearance might change. In this dragon lair, you'll also find an altar with an iron warhammer at both levels. That's interesting because I actually saw a glass warhammer here at level 100 during a test run before recording, so yeah, even altar weapons might vary too. And of course, the soul gems are better at the level 100. No surprises there. Now, let's talk about the main chest. At level 1, the best items were some height bracers of minor archery and a ring of minor conjuration. The total value wasn't amazing, but it wasn't terrible either. But level 100? That one actually surprised me. The chest only had 3 items. Every other chest so far has had 6 or 7. And the gold? Way less than usual. Most level 100 chests had around 250 gold, but this one felt kinda empty. Like someone looted it before I got there and just left the scraps behind. The best thing in there was an elven helmet of distraction. Total value is definitely not what I was expecting. Not exactly the treasure pile I was hoping for. Let's keep going. Next up is Elder's Blood Peak. This one's interesting because even at the level 1, the place is guarded by frost trolls. No wolves, no skeletons, just straight up frost trolls from the start. So yeah, it's not exactly a warm welcome. There's also an altar here, but unlike the others, this one mostly has potions. No weapons or soul gems this time. As for the chest loot, at the level 1, the most interesting thing I found was a Staff of Courage. The total value wasn't too impressive. At the level 100, I got a necklace of disease immunity and a pair of ebony boots. So yeah, definitely an upgrade. The total value was slightly better than level 1, but still kinda modest for level 100. And finally, the last stop in Skyrim is Dragontooth Crater. There's also one spot in Solstheim, but we'll get to that in a bit. This place is guarded by Forsworn and a Hag Raven, no matter what level you are. What really makes it stand out is the camp and the unique stone wall decoration. It's the only spot where the stone wall looks a bit different, which definitely adds some character. There's a tower here with a chest that has an adept lock at a level 1. Funny thing is, the loot there was pretty disappointing, and at the level 100, even with a master lock, it somehow gets worse. The main chest loot didn't impress much either. At the level 1, the total value was very low with no interesting items. Level 100 was a bit better in value, but still no great loot. No armor, no weapons. At least I did find a black soul gem here, which I hadn't seen in any of the other places. Alright, last stop is Seren's Watch. It's the only dragon lair on Solstheim, and this place is guarded by a group of Draugr. At the level 100, you can definitely tell they're way better equipped. Besides the main chest, there are a few other spots to loot. Mostly potions and soul gems, which of course are better the higher your level. Now the main chest at the level 1 had 2 enchanted items, an amulet and a staff, but the total value was pretty low. But the level 100? That's a whole different story. The loot value jumps way up to 4,989. The enchanted gear there includes a circlet of major archery and a grand staff of charming. Plus, there's some cool stuff like a glass mace and an ebony sword. Alright, so we've checked out all the spots. I even put together a few tables to see where I found the best and worst chest loot based on value. The worst loot value was at Bonestrom Crest and the best was at Sheerpoint. But at Autumn Watch Tower, we had a bandit geared up in Daedric plate armor, so if you include that alongside the chest loot, it would be the most valuable. Now, at the level 100, sure, you generally find more valuable stuff, but interestingly, there are a few cases where the loot value was worse than at level 1. So it's not like you always get better drops, just a higher chance for it. I calculated the average total value per level for all the chests, and on average, you earn almost 3 times more at level 100. What about enchanted items? I found 17 enchanted items total at level 100 compared to 9 at level 1. But if you just look at the chances of getting at least 1 enchanted item in a chest, it's pretty close. Around 70% at level 1 and 80% at level 100. Since the sample size is small, sometimes level 1 might even come out ahead. So the chance of getting at least 1 enchanted item in a chest doesn't really depend on level. What the level does affect is how many enchanted items you get per chest, and of course those items have stronger effects and come from better weapons or armor. Oh, and the chance to find Daedric gear in these chests? super low. I didn't find any on my runs. Although, like I mentioned before, when I checked Northwind Summit at level 100 again, I did find a Daedric plate helmet, so it's possible, just rare. One more thing, how much gold could you actually make by selling all this loot to traders? Without a level in Speechcraft, it would be about 3 times less than the base values, so around 3136 gold at level 1 and about 8484 at level 100. After exploring so many places, I'd say that's not a huge pile of gold. At level 100, your Speechcraft is definitely higher, so you'd end up making more money. Of course, your actual earnings will depend not only on Speechcraft but also on luck with getting better drops. Lately, I've been playing Morrowind for the first time, and man, the loot there in tombs and Dwemer ruins is so much more valuable. It blows my mind every time I find something worth tens or even hundreds of thousands. So what do you think about the loot? Were you expecting something better? Drop your thoughts in the comments, I'd love to hear what you think. Hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, thanks for watching.